Hey there, listeners. Welcome to Hines On Air, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and real-life entrepreneurial stories. I'm Matt Hines, your host, and I'm excited to have you join me on this journey. From building a successful law firm to venturing into other industries like real estate and social media, I've experienced both the triumphs and the challenges that come with entrepreneurship. I've learned firsthand the importance of resilience, adaptability, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. On Hines On Air, we're diving deep into the world of business, law, and personal growth. Join me as I chat with incredible guests who have faced adversity, defied expectations, and achieved extraordinary success. We'll discuss their strategies, their mindset, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or simply someone looking for a little inspiration, Hines On Air is for you. Remember to subscribe, like, and leave a review whenever you listen to podcasts. Your support helps us reach more people and continue sharing these incredible stories. Let's get started. Hey everybody, it is Matt Hines. We are back with another Hines On Air. I hope you are doing well, surviving this cold weather. But we've got a super interesting and fascinating guest today. She has consulted with educators throughout the world, with corporate managers, with all types of people. I think she's dedicated over 5,000 hours to consulting with people, I think mainly educators. Is that right, Michelle?
That's right.
Yep. She is described as a resilience visionary, burnout interventionalist, all types of qualities and skills that we're going to hear about today, something that we all need more information about. So everybody, please welcome Miss Michelle Dickinson. How you doing, Michelle?
Amazing. Thanks for finding me and inviting me on, Matt.
Oh, no, you're welcome. We're happy to have you here. All right, so the resilience visionary part is sort of grabbed my attention the most because I know some of our audience, they've got businesses or they're doing something that's going to require resilience. It's not going to be easy. It always seems like it's going to be easy and it's exciting, but then they're going to probably be hit with something that seems overwhelming. So, anyway, tell us a little bit about what do you teach people when you're teaching them resilience, how to stay in the game?
Of course. Resilience. So we define our brand as resilience as a lifestyle, and we look at resilience not as the thing that you have to build by going through hard times, but rather something that you get to build every single day. And we look at resilience more so as a definition of agency. We all have agency, and we have the ability to do more in every situation, whether or not we're aware of it.
I don't quite follow. And you said we all have agency. What's that mean?
Agency. We have a say in how things go. But a lot of people are like looking for their external circumstances to be different than they are in order to take and do things for themselves and take initiative and take control. They're waiting for the external circumstances to be different. So I say we all have agency. We all have something that we can be doing. We all have more power than we give ourselves credit for.
That's right. Right on. It's I think it's easy. We have sort of a victim mentality sweeping through America right now, certainly with the younger generation. They dare to, find an excuse. So certainly the agency proposition that you're saying needs to be reminded, like you're in control, buddy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Certainly to the degree I think that people give up that control, the longer it's going to take to come up with any solution, or the longer it's going to take to achieve whatever result they sought out to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very easy to be resigned to wear a victim sort of jacket and just kind of throw your hands up in the air and disagree with the way things are. But there's no power in that. And if you're up to some big things in life, you need to figure a way to not get in that headspace and just keep going for your goals and your dreams.
Right. All right. So let's say, I try to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So let's say I'm a client of yours and I call of like, geez, I've started this company. It's failing. How would you apply what you're talking about now? Is there like a method that you use with somebody, or is it more of just a kind of discussion and you go with?
No. No, I mean, and listen, I've been on this entrepreneur journey, for the past 5+ years, and it's not easy. It's probably one of the most grueling experiences of my life. I mean, when I was in a corporate job, everything was laid out for me. This is what you do. This is what you get paid. This is, these are all the perks, so I get it. It's hard to be an entrepreneur, and it's hard to keep your head up in moments when it gets dark. So the way we look at resilience is we look at two things. We are what we repeatedly think, and we are what we repeatedly do. So a lot of times people don't even realize that the narrative that goes on in their mind is influencing their day-to-day experience, and what they're doing for themselves physically is also going to directly influence their experience every day. So again, going back to agency, you have the ability to shift your thoughts. You have the ability to shift your practices. If you shift those two things, you're going to start feeling a little bit more in control in the cockpit of your life instead of waiting for things to be different and disagreeing with your reality.
So you would say, I guess, just get into action. Like, all right, so what can you do now?
Yeah. So, the human mind is not wired to make us happy. It's wired to protect us. So it's always going to be looking for things that are wrong, things that we disagree with, things that piss us off. It's always going to go there organically. And so you can't leave your mind unattended. You have to be aware of what's going on up there. I call it, the internal voice, I call it the itty bitty shitty committee, the one that's always commenting, always making you aware of the things that bother you, and there's no real power there. So whatever we focus our attention on is always going to expand. So if you want to be a creator and you want to create and go for the goals and dreams that you have to start to take a step back and start to analyze, where's my mind most of the day? What am I thinking about? What am I focusing my attention on? Am I focusing my attention on growing my business or sitting here pissed off that I only have one client? So you have a choice. So you could redirect that energy and start, like you said, getting into action, thinking about different things. What possibilities can you see? We have the ability to suffocate the negative thoughts and redirect our focus over to where we're actually getting excited and feeling good about what we're doing.
Right on. I agree with everything you've said. I have a very random question. Have you ever heard of something called Dianetics?
Oh, wow. God, I haven't heard that word in a long, long time.
No. Dianetics and Scientology, I'm a big practitioner of it, and I'm not going to branch off and get into all the stuff you're talking about, sort of the mental thoughts, overcoming those, how to put ourselves above that negativity and stuff. It sounds like it's right up that alley. I didn't know if that's something dealt with. Okay, interesting. Well, no, I'm right with you. I think when people come to me and need, I don't know, they want to not complain, they just need somebody to talk to.
Sure.
Actually, my first thing is, okay, well, what can you do? How can you get back into action other than going back and forth about the misery of it all? What can you? Usually they can come up with one step forward, something. They can start getting on the right path to overcome.
Yeah, that's agency. That's looking around and going, in this situation, there is something I have control over, and that's what I have to focus on.
Yeah. I think part of the some of the consulting groups that we're with, and something we try to practice in our office, is the 1-3-1 rule. They, I think, show you how well I apply it because I can't remember right now. But it's the one is the problem, 30 or 3 potential solutions, and then what's the best one? Oh my gosh, I can't get this filed on time because the courthouse is closing. All right, give me 3 possibilities, pick the best one, go. And it shifts people from being victim to in control or at cause of the situation.
Yeah. You cannot leave your mind unattended. It will always focus on your problems.
Yeah. So all right, so you've done a lot of consulting with educators and all.
Yes.
What is the message to them?
Oh, Lord, there's so many educators right now that are leaving teaching, and it makes me nervous, the future of our children, right? So a lot of teachers have a tremendous amount of pressure on their shoulders, whether it's from a new type of student that has extraordinary needs, behavioral issues, concerns, short staff, so they're covering more in the classroom than they've ever had to before. Changing in curriculum, we know that that's rapidly changing. So they're having to do a lot of different things. So they're burning out, and a lot of them are contemplating leaving teaching. So they come to me through the school district. I typically get retainers with school districts so they can access me. And what we do is we take a step back and we look at how are they thinking, what's their mindset, and then what are they doing for themselves. Teachers are givers. They are notorious for giving until they have absolutely nothing left to give. And so it's really getting them to start thinking about they have to put the oxygen mask on themselves. They have to start making and finding some time for themselves so they can keep going and stay in the long game. So that's how I mostly am supporting them.
When you say time for themselves, you mean personal time away from the school? Or what do you mean?
I mean, having more balance in their life so they're taking better care of their bodies, their minds, so that they can show up on the job. So I'm talking something as basic as, are you getting 8 hours of sleep? Are you moving your body at all during the day? Are you drinking coffee all day? Are you drinking water? Are you eating nutrient-dense foods? Are you on the weekend spending the whole weekend working, or are you disconnecting and going and connecting with your family, the people you love? Like, what are you doing outside of work that's going to help fill your cup? So there's a variety of things we look at so that we can start to get them back into balance.
So it sounds like in those situations, work's not the issue. It's more of a personal thing that's going on that might.
Right. But if you ask them, work is the issue. And most teachers come to me and say, when I get an 8 in my classroom, when they change the curriculum, next year when I'm in a different space and we have a new principal, all of these external circumstances, they're waiting to change in order to actually start to feel better about themselves and their job. And that's when I'm like, stop waiting for the external world to change and start looking at what can I do for myself right now.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I had a friend of mine. She was having trouble. She's basically the issue with her was relationships, not having a stable relationship. And I remember speaking with her, and after talking, you spot different issues going on with her as an individual. And so my thing to her was, okay, let's pause on the relationship. Let's handle you first. Once you get in order, the relationship is much more likely to occur when you yourself are a little bit more stable. But she herself individually was in a unstable situation, and honestly, would probably repel any type of meaningful relationship. I don't think it's going to coalesce around that type of energy. I don't know.
It's hard to look in the mirror and realize you are the common denominator.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
it's hard. It's not a comfortable thing to do.
Responsibility. I know it's that is a tough one, and it's so easy to point the finger or blame, because there are reasons to blame. Like somebody did do something else wrong, but if you look, you'll find you could have done it better yourself. Yeah. It's a harsh one. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it is. So I saw it says that you had consulted in many industries: banking, pharmaceuticals, biotech. I think I read corporate consulting as well. Is it usually the same message? Like, let's focus on you, or is there sometimes something in the organization or something that also needs to change?
It depends, like people will seek me out for a variety of coaching. So like I recently just coached a sales executive who was having a hard time with regulation, right? And as a leader, if you can't be regulated, how do you lead a team effectively? So we really worked on his regulation, and that all goes back to taking better care of himself and his self-care practices so that he can be that steady Eddie in the office and handle the unanticipated challenges with ease and grace. So, from the executive to, the individual employee that just is completely overwhelmed, has a chronic complaint to their boss all the time, I'm overwhelmed, that the boss can't give them any work because they're sitting in overwhelm. So we unpack that. What does that mean to be overwhelmed? And believe it or not, a lot of this does happen in a generational, different generations in different ways. We're noticing a lot of younger folks are struggling with anxiety, then they're struggling with overwhelm. But like you tell an employer, I'm overwhelmed, they don't quite know how to help you. So what I do is I sit down and we unpack what's the source of that overwhelm, because we want you to be able to feel better. So for yourself first, and then you won't be so overwhelmed when something comes at you at work. You'll start to be able to understand how to break that down and handle it.
Yeah, I would agree. If somebody tells me, Matt, I'm overwhelmed, that's my first question too. Okay, what does that mean? Like, what's tell me, describe today, and let's go through it, and then maybe we could pick apart, because it might be, I don't know, they're having a tough relationship with their partner, or their child is not doing well in school. Right.
And that's lingering. Yeah. And that's lingering, and they're trying to do other things. So it's like, let's get to the heart of that. Right. And a lot of people, listen, a lot of people don't have people to talk to confidently, so I think, what's nice about what we do is we are taking them back to the basics. It's a non-clinical narrative. We are not therapy. What we are looking at we are what we repeatedly do, and we are what we repeatedly think. And from those two things, we're looking at how are they thinking and what are they doing or not doing for themselves.
You think the thought comes first, or is it an environmental stimulus that comes first that creates the thought?
I look at it as organically, the mind is not wired to make us happy. So the mind is always going to be looking for it's fight or flight. It's trying to protect you. So it's going to be looking around for every possible threat or thing that bothers you that could harm you. So organically, it wants to think about everything that's a problem, right? So most people go, well, I can't be positive. Well, it's like, no, your mind is doing what it does. If you want to be happy, you got to choose a different thought, and you got to get out of autopilot and start redirecting your thought and get excited about the things you're creating and focus on the things that are good and the gratitude you have for everything that you do have in your life, not only what's missing.
Yeah, I got you. You think that something like love and happiness and all that, is that a forced emotion pushed through with the negativity in the mind, or is that a natural reaction?
I think, I think it's natural when there isn't so much stuff in the way.
Okay.
The average person is riddled with their responsibilities, their burdens, and they don't understand that that's not how life has to go. Right? They have a say that like they can create joy in their life. And once you can shift your focus and first and foremost, get present to how you're thinking. Awareness, self-awareness is the gold, right? Like, so if people can start to become less connected to the external world and, addicted to the dopamine hits of the social media and everything, and can become more curious about themselves and be with themselves and know themselves, it's a lot easier than to be like, okay, I'm going to choose to focus on these things that are going well in my life. And then you'll feel better, and then you can be in a place of creation.
I gotcha. That's cool. I guess my response, I would push forward with the idea more that the happiness and the good stuff is the more natural tendencies of the mind, and the anger and doubt and whatever is extra, not a native thing. Is just, it's not inherent. It is additive. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that communicates or not.
No. I hear you. I would agree that our natural state is love. Absolutely. I agree with that. But there's so much noise in the world. There's so much distraction. There's so many problems. There's so many things that are getting in between that natural place of love, so we can't really feel it because we're distracted.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of that. That's for sure. I did have a follow-up. You're talking about training the sales exec. You said he had trouble with regulation. Is that about like showing up to work on time or following the, like, what do you mean by that?
When I say regulation, it's being able to handle stressful situations professionally. Regulation meaning my mood, my temperament, my disposition, my ability to stay in control in those high pressure moments.
So he'd just freak out and get angry?
I just think he was raised in an environment where that type of behavior was tolerated, and now he's in a senior level role and is demonstrating what he was taught.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That can be trouble for the juniors underneath him.
Absolutely.
It'd be managed by somebody like that when you don't really want, there's such an unpredictable outcome. You don't know.
Right.
That would be tough. Well, did he change?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. By the end of our time together, that guy, well, he had a baby and a wife, and he just made his routine rock solid. Like, we're talking running, meditating, journaling, handling his sleep, and those things all stacked up so that he walked into the building more regulated and calm.
Very good. You mentioned journaling. I haven't heard about one. Is that, if you were to counsel somebody, would you say keep a journal, a daily journal?
Yeah, journaling's a great tool to get out those emotions and feelings you're having in a safe place. And a lot of people just like to mindlessly journal to just get out everything that's like swirling around, that they just want to sort of get it out and write it and be done with it.
Yeah, I got you. That's good. And I've seen that many times too. When somebody has a child, it certainly changes things. I've seen people that I never thought could possibly change. I didn't even think they'd survive to the age of adulthood. And then they have a child, and I'm like, son of a gun, this guy's a decent human being. It's that does soften them. Yeah, they get a little like. Any other? I've got to go in just a minute. I appreciate all of your time. Any other stories or examples you can think of where you started with somebody, they were going through this problem? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but
No, that's okay.
Okay. Any other examples? Because I like hearing about your sales exec, what you did with him, and how the outcome.
Sure.
Anything else like that? Any other examples that you work with somebody? What they were?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have had educators who their district hires me and they come to me and in confidence, they're like, you're going to help me quit. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to take a step back. So I had this one woman come to me and she's like, you're going to help me quit because I want out. And I said, well, what are you going to do? She said, I don't know. I just want out. I go, well, do you have a family you got to provide for? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take a look at this, because is that really going to be the best immediate move to apply that additional, stress and pressure on yourself than to be unemployed? So we spent a lot of time talking about why she had gotten to that point where she just wanted out. And then slowly, after we realized she was doing nothing for herself, she was pouring herself into her job hour after hour, weekend after weekend, and she started to reclaim some footing and balance. She started to be able to get things back into perspective, right? Distancing herself, not working 10-hour days, reconnecting with her family, finding a little bit of joy. Ultimately, she never quit. Ultimately, she saw what it was that she loved about teaching, and she just made it a non-negotiable to start taking better care of herself for the benefit of her family, because there's always going to be an impact on the people we love. We don't show up the way we want to. We're short with them. We're mean to them. We're exhausted, so therefore we can't engage with them. So she got the impact on her family and then started doing more for herself, and then was able to just keep those boundaries healthy so she could continue doing a job that she truly did love but had forgotten why.
Good for you. She's lucky to have you. Yeah, a lot of people like that could end up on prescription drugs or whatever, going through all kinds of craziness. But you found the cause. You do. That's great. That's great.
I love it. I love what I do. I love helping people. It makes me happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. Well, listen, Michelle, It has been awesome speaking with you. Thank you for all that you're doing for everybody. This is great. You're changing the world and making it better and happier and everything.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And if somebody, is this your company that offers this service to everyone?
Yes,
Do you have a website?
I do. It's called www.resiliencelifestyle.com.
Okay, resiliencelifestyle.com, and we will post that below the video too. So if anybody,
And I'm also on LinkedIn as well. And it's resilience as a lifestyle. Sorry. But I am on LinkedIn as well. If you wanted to just hit me up there on a message, I'm always there.
sure. All right, so resilienceasalifestyle.com.
That's correct.
Okay, great. Awesome, Michelle. Thank you again. It has been a pleasure.
You're welcome.
All right. And everybody,
All right.
thank you for joining us. I hope you got something out of this episode. I know I did. So if you did, comment for me, like this video, and subscribe to the channel. We will see you next time.
Hines On Air is for you. Remember to subscribe, like, and leave a review whenever you listen to podcasts. Your support helps us reach more people and continue sharing these incredible stories.